I love the puzzle of getting people better. Like I love figuring out what's really keeping them from getting better. And to this day, it's still that. Like off hour, I can't shut my brain off. I just love it.
Welcome to the Fuel Hunt Show.
What's going on, Eagles? I'm Joey, and this is the Fuel Hunt Show. Today, to my left, I have Drew, my cousin and co-founder in Fuel Hunt. And to my right, I have a very, very special guest, Dr. J.J. Thomas from Primal Physical Therapy. We're going to get into a lot. Also, if I can give you another title. Well, actually, CEO of Primal Physical Therapy, also of Primal U now, University, which we'll get into, and also OG of the Fuel Hunt community, right? OG since
Thanks,
2019, 2020.
It was definitely like during COVID, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Late 2019, that's what we're going to go with.
Say that.
OG of the community, for sure. So one thing that everyone in the community probably knows, because you've been on our feed, before. So like they felt your energy more than likely. But one thing the community is going to feel during this episode is your energy, that unique JJ energy. There's a handful of Eagles in our community that have that energy. And when I say handful, there's probably like 3.
Or people in the world.
I would agree. Funny, right? As you were coming up the elevator, we could hear and feel your presence. And literally, like Dane was looking at me, I was looking back. We just had a smile on our face. Legit.
Thanks.
Smile on our face. And we were like, okay, here comes the electricity.
I think I vibrate high, and then I'm like around JJ. I'm like, oh my god, I'm lump on
makes
a
me
log.
like sad boy, basically. It makes me look like sad boy.
Well, you guys bring it out in me more. It is true. It is true. I've always been high energy. It is. I was born that way, pretty much born that way. But I thrive on it, so I seek it out.
Yeah.
Like I think I feed myself. I'm like, whatever superhero, Mario brother feeding the things that makes them like chomp and feeling better. Yeah. It's that, and you guys feed me, so it is definitely. I could feel it coming up the elevator, so I'm glad you could.
That's a heck of. See how I said heck? I didn't say. Watching my mouth.
Okay.
You can do what you want.
I can.
But me. There's going to be a swear jar instituted.
Okay.
That we'll see on the next episode. We'll give them a sneak peek during your episode. But I said heck.
On YouTube, it always asks, like, is this clip for kids?
Yeah.
And I'm always like, no.
Yeah, like
One
Joey
day
effed it up
it
again.
might be.
Joey effed it up again. But heck of a ride coming up that elevator, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You can feel the work that was like done in this space.
You can feel the work. You can feel the foundational work. Like I think I love buildings too. Like here goes the energy again, but it's true. Part of the reason I love old buildings is because, first of all old buildings were made with intention. Like they were, your motto, brick by brick, right? Like it's like the old buildings, they're made with intention, and the structure and the like power of those buildings is evident because of that. And it stands the test of time. So whenever I'm in or near an old building, I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
That's what drew us to this space. I feel like when you build something with intention like that, whether it's a building or something else, a business, a community, it stands the test of time, and it like retains the energy that you put into it. So when people visit it or join it, they feel that energy too. You know? So that was one of the things that drew us to this this space. It's
even
space.
better in person, you guys. I want to tell you, like, it's really cool.
It's funny, like when you do go pick people up on the elevator too. Like the first thing Eddie said when you came in was like, "Oh my god, like, this place is awesome."
Because it almost, I didn't say this on the elevator, but it almost also goes with your mission or message, is that, like, okay, the elevator's a little rickety, you guys, but it's also like, how much do you want it?
Yeah.
Like, how much do you want to go see this space? Are you going to be okay with it ricketing a little bit?
Yeah. It's definitely not a comfy elevator. It's a freight elevator.
It's a little bit like, whoa, is this going to be okay? I don't even care. Let's go.
There is a sign that says out of service, elevator out of service when you get in. It's there. Just so you know.
I wonder how many times Caroline thinks about that when she's taking it during the day. Like,
probably
she's
many.
like, am I going to be safe?
Especially when she loads it up like that. Stuff coming in.
Yeah.
So one quick story I wanted to tell about your energy was at BK Live.
Oh.
Right. So we were at BK Live together. And I was doing something, I don't know, I was doing Joey things. I was talking to someone, I may have been talking to Dean, I don't know who I was speaking with at the time, but my back was faced to the entrance, to the door. And I could just feel something coming, like something very positive coming my way, and then I heard you, and it was you.
Thank you.
The same type of thing.
Yeah.
Everybody, I felt like the flip has switched, and now Fuel Hunt is in the building as soon as you walked in. So it is a true testament. I can probably rattle off some other examples too, but that one really hit me. So we do appreciate your energy, your belief in everything we do. Probably one of the first members of Fuel Hunt Rise, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Right? One of
She's
the very first.
Thanks.
She's always supported us, like no matter what we do, right? She's always had our back, and I'm very grateful for it. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's well, I believe it is believing in the mission. Like I believed in it was almost like you guys, the very same beliefs that you guys have bottled up and helped spread the word out to the world. I would at the same time when I found you guys, I felt like the world needed it. So of course I'm going to support that. Like it's not about the bad ass gear you get as much as it is about the message that the world needs to hear. So I'll always support those that have a great message.
Yeah, we appreciate
And
that.
and you give it right back. Like you support your people. And so thank you.
Yeah, we are givers. Like we were saying with intention, when you build something with intention, you can feel the energy in it. And I feel like that's the same thing with our apparel. Like you can feel it.
For sure.
You know, when you put it on, you can feel it. You feel that intention. This was done intentionally to make me feel more powerful and to make the other people that think and act like me feel powerful too.
Do you remember the time I posted about the when I put the jacket on? When I put the Fuel Hunt jacket.
In the airport? No.
Not in the airport.
Okay.
It was the first time I actually the jacket, which was I think a limited
Yeah,
edition.
Yeah.
Awesome jacket. If they ever bring it back, they're like, don't bring it up. But what I said in the post was, it's like a Jeep Wave, only better.
Yeah.
Because it is like, and not just with a jacket, but like with all the gear. It's like when I see someone with the few, with anything, the few,
Yep.
it's like a Jeep. It's a little bit like a Jeep Wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know,
You know?
being in the DMs and like my own DMs too, you don't know how many messages or stories I get where it's someone saying, I was in the gym or even I was at the bar, right? And someone came up to me wearing a Fuel Hunt shirt and they're like, oh my God, you're an Eagle? Like, I'm an Eagle too.
Yeah.
And there are so many, even relationships, like romantic relationships, like friend relationships, business partnerships, something we get into with Josh and Lindsay.
Yeah,
That they were connections built just off of an eagle seeing another eagle in the wild.
absolutely.
I get save the dates to my house all the time. I probably get 2 a month. And I know that's a thing nowadays. Like sometimes if you have a favorite company or whatever, you send them. No, these are just save the dates.
That's so
It's
cool.
like Joey, hope to see you there.
That's so
Just a
cool.
straight up save the date.
'Cause
From
that's
all
Man.
over the U.S.
That's where our first business address is.
Save the
at
date for
Joe's.
a wedding, I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah. So
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's wild.
really cool.
Oh, it's so wild. It's so wild.
we cannot confirm or deny that those are weddings from as a result of Fuel Hunt, but they did want us there.
They wanted us there, so I'm going to just go out on a limb.
I'm thinking that.
I'm going to go out on a
I'm
limb.
going to support that.
We should start
and
sending
say-
back shirts as gifts.
Yeah, that's what we should do
That's
that.
actually a good idea.
We should do that. And keep working hard enough that,
Oh, yeah.
I can just head to them and pop
Yeah.
up.
That's right.
And I don't even have to crash. I was invited, so I can just go.
Joe, it could be our designated wedding.
Yeah, but I feel like
wedding
if,
guy.
Social
if you got
attaché.
an invite and then you just showed up, it'd be even cooler almost. Like if
Yes.
Right?
I would love that.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is
you
absolutely
guys have
amazing.
sort of a Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson vibe.
Which one am I?
I'm not going to answer that.
I'll take it. I will take it.
You're definitely Vince Vaughn.
It's been so long since I watched the movie that
Oh my
I can't put my finger on if that's a compliment or not.
It's
but
a
I'm gonna take
compliment.
it.
It's a
I'm gonna
great.
take
They're
it.
great.
They're both amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
they both fill the role perfectly.
Good.
Yeah.
So you, we were talking about how you found us.
Yeah.
I think we found you, but how you found us? How was that? You found us on social media? Is
So
that-
here's the thing. I remember, yes.
Okay.
I actually, this is kind of the weird thing. I remember I was working out in my basement. It was during COVID. I was working out in my basement, and at the time, I was trying to, I think I just came across your feed in Instagram. Like, I
Okay.
think it might have been, I don't know if it was an ad or what, but you showed up in my Instagram, that amazing algorithm that's gotten so different, but it's amazing. And you showed up and I was like, wow, these guys are awesome. And then I must have ordered gear.
Okay.
And then I ordered gear and I put the shirt on, and I'm a texture person, and I was like, oh, this is soft,
Yeah.
you know? Oh, this is soft and it has a great message. Like it was like, and then I started looking at you guys more and I noticed you were Philly based. And you know, I'm such a loyal girl. Like I was like, they're in Philly? Wait a minute. And so then I DM'd you guys.
Yeah.
And when I DM'd you, I was like, hey, because I wanted to have Primal gear.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, like I love your quality. I love your message. I was going to try to get gear made, but I'm actually wondering if it's something you guys could do. Yeah. And then you guys hopped on the phone with me. You were like, let's have a phone call. And I was like, okay, you know? And then we all hopped on the phone. It was amazing.
And that was before our faces weren't really on the feed. We were
very off the grid.
Yeah. Bedros has pushed us to this point where now we have a show, and I'm so glad he did.
He's
but then,
Yeah.
like, you didn't even see us, really.
Yeah, you had no
we were
idea
behind
who
the
you were
scenes.
messaging when you.
I didn't.
Yeah.
But when we got on the phone, it felt like I knew you already.
Yeah, that was.
You know what I
definitely-
mean? Like I was like, I didn't have faces yet, but honestly, you felt like my cousins.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was like, you know.
Shared
I remember.
values.
I think I
Yeah.
took the
Vision.
first phone call with JJ because we didn't have like a system or process to
Right.
this yet. We were just figuring it out, and I got off the phone. I was like, Joe, like this girl's awesome. Like we gotta like I just want to work with her. Like do whatever she wants. Like
I remember our first phone call, too. I'm a pacer. If you caught the previous episode, Drew got me this device I put on, and I put the phone in it, and I can walk around. But I do remember our first phone call. I was home, actually, and I was on my front porch.
Yep.
And I was just pacing back.
And
you know,
same,
front
I was
porch.
out with my dog when you and I talked.
Yeah.
Like I was out like pacing on the grass with my dog.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had done some, well, before we get there, so fuel hunt and the lifestyle we live, the rules of the few are uncommon, especially nowadays.
I know.
So for you to find us or us find you and say like, wait, these people feel like family. We share the same values and vision and this is a message that we both think the world needs at this time. Was that, did you always feel that way? Did you always hold those beliefs? Were they imparted upon you by someone in your childhood or earlier on?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, multiple people. Like, you know, I was raised mainly by my mom. I'm one of 4 girls, and she's been a huge influence in my life always. She's a very strong woman, has great values. I mean, my entire family. I come from a big family. That's why I said you guys feel like cousins. Like I have like 36 first cousins, and then they're married, and you know, so
I think you got the Bowens beat.
yeah.
Yeah, the Bowens beat, and that's hard to do.
So, and all of us, like, you know, you hard work pays off, and all of those values have been instilled. And I think when we found each other, it was though at a time when I was really doubting the world and everyone's ability to stand up for what was right. That's really, I think, why when I saw your feed, when I saw your product message on my feed, it stood out so much because I was definitely at a place, that's why I remember it was during COVID, because I remember feeling like, why isn't anyone speaking up?
Yeah.
Like, why are we all just holed up in a box and no one's saying anything, you know?
Yep.
So that's when it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a big part of 2020 was really a hockey stick year for us, and that was a big part of it. And, you know, I have spoken to some people that said, oh, well, you know, they didn't mean anything by it, but like, hey, you know, you were lucky that at that time, you know, you just kind of, you were at that crossroad and you had a message and it just worked. And it was like, well, you know, what you don't understand is we started in 2016.
Right.
So we did the same thing
No.
for 4 years over and over again.
Yeah.
And because of the probability, you know, I'm not going to say luck doesn't exist, but I feel like it's a volume thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? We did so much work over a period of time that we made it highly probable that whenever there was an inflection point like that, our message was going to be there to reach out to people that needed it and attract them into our community.
I definitely think that's what happened. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think it's still true. Like, it's funny. I definitely, with the community you guys have built, I feel like, you know how you said, like, the message that you guys bring and that the community brings through Fuel Hunt is rare, and it is, but I feel like it's less rare because I'm choosing to spend my time with people. It's more convenient, not convenient. It's more convenient to find the people with the shared values because of the community you built. So it feels less alone.
Yeah,
No.
we're kind of spoiled in our day-to-day operations because anyone that works for us, with us, or around us is cut from the same cloth, and that's by design. We set out to build this community and live this way and only associate with people that think like us. So that's what we got. And on a day-to-day basis, we're even our vendors and our employees are the same. They're equals, realistically.
Yeah, for you to say that it made you or makes you feel less alone, like that was the intent. Like we felt alone in the very beginning.
I remember you saying that.
We felt alone. We're like, okay, wait, this isn't the way the world is. Like we know that. We had the wherewithal to say, like, there's other people out there.
For sure.
We just have to find them. I will say that now we're very fortunate that everybody that we work with and work through and the community, we're all cut from the same cloth. When I do encounter someone that isn't, it's a much harsher reality.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm
Yes.
out on the street, we had the Few Fest recently. Got a lot of love on the Philly streets.
That's
which was
awesome.
great. But we also got some comments, and people didn't understand what we were doing or why. When we told them, like, hey, we're rocking from, Fuel Hunt HQ to the Liberty Bell because we believe in these three things, right?
Yeah.
Freedom, hard work, and service to others. And people
Love
were
it.
just like, what?
I
Like, and every time I heard that, it was like I
Yeah.
got punched in the gut.
I know.
But then I rooted myself in the
Yeah.
fact that, we have each other.
You're standing
you know
together.
What I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're dealing with normies.
Yeah, normies. That's like a word now.
I think it's someone
What
said
is it?
normies.
Oh, Normie.
Do you know
They're
that
I
people-
didn't
word?
know that.
Apparently, they're people that
Now
don't.
I know.
They're apparently people that don't think like us.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
I have a question going back to that 2020 year in which you found us. Is there, or vice versa, but is there a
We found each
reason?
other.
Like, do you think there's a catalyst or a reason that you were feeling that way specifically, other than obviously the situation? But like, was your business in a state where it was like, okay, we don't know if this is going to be a thing
I mean,
forever?
good question. My business was good through COVID. I feel very lucky about that. But I think what I noticed in my business, although it was it was still profitable, and we found ways to continue to make things work, even though I couldn't be on site as much as I normally would have been. We did a lot of online stuff. We did more online programming, and we
Okay.
did more virtual sessions. But I will say, in general, there was such volatility around the political things associated with COVID that I noticed that, even myself, normally in my business setting, all of a sudden I was being more careful with the way I was answering questions. Like I just felt like I had to hold back.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't. My entire life, I've just been like.
I've
just been very
Unapologetically,
forthright.
yeah.
Unapologetically authentic. Exactly. And it's not that I wasn't authentic, but I definitely had to hesitate before I would answer things, and I hated that.
I hated
and I
that.
felt like that was coming from this, you talk about energy and how energy is contagious, and I felt like the world had this contagious negative energy that was just like, it was just piling up, and nobody had the guts to stop it. And then Fuel Hunt, and then I came across you guys, and I was like, let's go. These guys got some guts. I'm going to go with them.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's kind of the relationship.
It's interesting too that's how you perceived it or received it, because when we were posting through that, we were just staying true to our values and our core values and our rules. We weren't necessarily trying to be political. Our theory has always been to build bridges, not trenches, through any kind of political device. And we weren't trying to cast out people, even though we indirectly are as a
movement.
a mission and a movement. But that wasn't necessarily our
Intention.
plan
Yeah.
or intention.
No, I mean we're first principle thinkers, and no matter what the climate is, politically or otherwise, we're going to go back to why we chose the Eagle to represent Fuel Hunt, freedom, hard work, service to others. And I feel like if people thought and acted with those first principles in mind, that we could see our way through things like what happened. I'm not saying it would be easy,
Right.
but in a much more efficient, effective way, that didn't damage people as it did. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's crazy.
When you were saying, I forget how you said it, Drew, but you basically said we didn't mean to
Cast people out.
cast people out. And when you said that, what the image I got was, I don't ever feel like you guys cast people out. I feel like people choose to not belong.
Yes.
Like people,
yes.
and it's like, and the same thing, the other thing that comes to mind with the messages that Fuel Hunt, the reason I'm such an OG, such
Diehard
a
eagle?
diehard, is that the messages carry through to every aspect of your life. Like, I remember my daughter's 18, she's amazing, and when she was like 12 or so, she had a problem with some friends for about 2 weeks. She was really struggling, and I just kept saying to her, if they don't understand you, they don't deserve you. Like if they don't, that's it. If they don't understand you, they don't deserve you. And it's the same thing. Like if people don't understand, then it's okay. They're going to pull themselves out. They choose.
Sure. Yeah. I that's the way we've always tried to run it from the beginning. You know what I mean? And we're very open about that. Like,
Yeah.
look, like your choices are your own. So if you don't want to excel,
Yeah.
I can't even say it that way. If the road for you isn't climbing a mountain, it's just more of a slow incline, and that's the way you want to roll, like
Yeah.
we're cool with that.
Totally.
But if you have high aspirations, big goals, you're choosing to excel,
Right.
we're your people. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Come
Yeah,
on in.
that's it.
Join, because it's going to be a hard road.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do it alone.
And here's the other thing, like from my company's standpoint, our patients are the same way. Like you come to Primal, you put in the work. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's literally the same thing.
No
And-
magic pills. You're not dishing out
Right.
pharmaceuticals.
I mean, right. We'll facilitate, we'll support, we're going to give you everything you need, but we also we're going to give 110%, but if you're not giving the same
Yes.
back, we're not going to pour our energy into that either.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, we'll recommend someone else. Like we're like, if you're okay with this, that's okay with us too, but you
Yeah.
probably don't need to spend your time, energy, and money here.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny we talk about this too, because I always say when I was doing main hustle to side hustle to freedom, that objective, I hung my our first Fuel Hunt champion banner in my office at my old job, and the amount of comments I would get on that thing was crazy. And it wasn't me saying like, oh, you can't
Right.
Yeah.
wear our t-shirts because you're not like us. It was them saying to me like, oh, you're weird because you think like that, or you want to hang
Yeah.
that in your office.
Number one misconception, I think, of Fuel Hunt, that it's the community and the apparel, that it's some type of like hardo, alpha, and whereas it's just the opposite. Like our community members are at many different parts of their journey. Really what we're saying is, we're that beacon, that siren that says like, look, if you think this way, regardless of how consistently you are acting this way, you're our people.
That's right.
So come on in, and if you really have this dream, this aspiration, this goal, we can help you get there, because there's people that have crossed the bridges you're about to cross that are more consistent than you are at this time because they've been doing it longer, and we're here to serve you. Freedom, hard work, service to others.
Love it.
If you're willing to hunt, you can eat with us. is
Yes.
how I like to say it.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Does Joey wear shorts all winter? Yes,
I do.
But you don't have to be a hardo, I promise.
Yeah. That's even on the other show you said that. You're like,
Yeah.
that's got to make you feel like a bit. I'm like, it doesn't. It makes me feel like I'm a consistent person, and that's what I enjoy most. Consistency.
Yep,
You know
yep,
what I mean?
yep.
Yeah.
And that's what differentiates us from people in the entrepreneur space or the business space or in life just in general, is we're showing up every day and doing the work no matter what is happening in life or society or at the time, right? Like it's every day the work's getting done.
It's a rule of few. Choose effort over excuses and emotion.
Yep.
And we did a show with Eddie Alvarez, and he mentioned it. He said, like, I reached a point in my career where my effort was completely delineated from my emotions. Like my emotions were the last thing.
He said almost to a fault.
Almost to a fault.
Which
Wow.
I feel like we could all agree that
Yeah.
like being highly driven
Oh, yeah.
entrepreneurs. I mean, that's just what happens. Like
Yeah.
other people's feelings and emotions, even your own, get put to the wayside because nothing matters more than the mission. And that's what I tell a lot of my family and friends. Like they have gotten upset with me, and I maybe still be upset with me to this day because I've put a lot of things
But
on the back burner.
think about it though. Like in life, when we're doing this, right? Whatever it is, the few.
Yeah.
How many times do we get it right out of the gate?
Right.
Never, right? It's a process.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it is, yes, like I'm going to be like heavily skewed towards the effort side and not enough emotion while I figure this out. Right? I mean,
I don't know if you saw the post I put up not that long ago because it was related to my Primal Foundation course. There's a study where they looked at babies from 12 to 19 months old as they go to walk, as they're learning to walk, and they studied the behavior. And what they found is that in 1 hour, they took greater than 2,000 steps, and they fell and got up 17 times in 1 hour.
Yeah.
And so I like to use that analogy with patients. I'm like, look, in 1 hour, babies fall and get back up 17 times. If you don't get this exercise right in this next hour, it's okay. We're going to try it again tomorrow, you know?
And even greater than that, they did that at one time.
Exactly. Yes,
like when
that's
they
right.
were a
You
baby.
did this.
You did this
That's
before.
right. And
you know?
you didn't you might have cried a little bit, but you didn't get yourself down about it. You just got back up and then you tried again. And then you got back up and you tried again.
Man, the smarter we get, the more we become our own enemy. You know, it's the truth. It's the truth.
I do have some questions for JJ.
Shoot,
I do want to hear more about your entrepreneurial journey and your how you became JJ, the CEO and founder of Primal Physical Therapy.
This thing, I feel like I'm on this big freaking wave that I didn't mean to be on, but it's amazing and exciting and fulfilling. So
Because anyone who like, in the area is going to
Yes.
you for
Thank you.
guidance.
Defending the few.
defending the few.
Like athletes
and
of
that
all
is
levels.
that is right.
I mean, what do we do before the show?
That's-
kind of rude. We
We
come
actually-
into our home, we give you a gift, and then we're like, let me ask you some questions.
We're
Like,
actually-
let me just ask you some questions.
I
We're
love
actually
it.
interrupting our lessons or treatment for
Wait,
a podcast.
I did not. I loved it. Like I was actually, I was thinking, I'm like, I should have done it before. I'm going to look at these guys later. I should have done it before, but then I might have let go of all their bodily secrets. So maybe it's better I didn't. This is kind of it did spiral. I mean, when I was in the insurance-based world as a clinician, I'm going to try to make this story not too long, but essentially, I wanted to get people better. Like I got into PT because I just wanted to help people, and the environment I was in wasn't allowing me to give 110%. And I just hated that feeling. And then I would come home and I had so much paperwork that I wasn't able to give my family 110%. Yeah. So I just hit a point where I was like, this isn't working. Like I need to figure this out. So I opened my shop. Actually, first I did, I rented space. So I just kept the business model really simple. I rented space 2 days a week, and 3 days a week I teach dry needling. So 3 days a week I contract worked with a friend of mine, their office. They had a lot of therapists, so we taught them how to dry needle, and I would allow them to shadow. So anyway, I built my business that way. The first 2 years I didn't have a brick and mortar shop. And then I got my brick and mortar shop, and then it just grew. But the funny thing that I want to share is I think the reason it grew goes back to the mission still. Like the mission is still to help more and more people. And so when I first opened my cash-based practice, there I had the time to spend with people and really get them better and give them what they needed. But then the busier I got, the more I realized, wow, if I actually train other therapists to do this method that I'm doing, that's really working for everyone, then I can help even more people. Yep. So that's how it's grown. And so now we have 3 full-time therapists and 2 part-time therapists at our Bryn Mawr office, and looking for another location because we're just busting at the seams. So
in Bucks County, hopefully.
Yeah. What's that?
Hopefully in Bucks County.
Ah!
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's awesome. We were just talking about how if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And from the outside looking in, it seems like you guys are thriving. You and Dr. Eric over there are just like thriving
We
every
have
day.
so much
like,
fun. All of us.
It's a fucking party.
It is. It is. Oh, I wish I had the jar.
It is.
No, but it is a party. I do love it. And it feels like even off hours, like it's like it. What I loved. This is funny. My entrance exam into PT school, the question was like, "Why do you want to be PT?" And the answer then for me, so I graduated PT school in 2000. So this was like probably 1997 or so. But the answer was like, I love the puzzle of getting people better. Like I love figuring out what's really keeping them from getting better. And to this day, it's still that. Like off hour, I can't shut my brain off. Yes. I just love it. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about my hips. After.
Let's do it.
It might not even be
I
my
have
hips.
this
That's the
clicking.
problem.
I have a clicking that
That's the thing.
I'm
I
concerned
do a lot of
about.
hip mobility, and
I mean, you saw
We'll talk about
my
it.
mobility is pretty good.
Your mobility's good. It's
Yeah.
probably, I mean,
Something's clicking.
I wish I
don't
had
know.
a band. We could do it live right now.
Oh
dude,
my
could you
God.
imagine?
Joey's
we'll do
going
that on your
first.
show.
We'll
next.
do it.
We'll do
Yeah,
it on
okay.
your show
Oh,
next.
Joey's going first. That's my rule.
Yeah. I mean, it's the shoulders and the abductors or whatever they are. They're problem areas. But anyway, that's a great question that you asked, Joe, and I could have bet the farm on your response, which was basically a purpose rooted in the service to others.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what it is. And like when entrepreneurs come to us, like the bit of coaching that we do now, when an entrepreneur comes to us with what I will say the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
I tell them straight up,
Yeah.
like, look, this is a very hard, difficult road that you're going to embark on. And if you're not doing it because you genuinely want to see, you genuinely want to leave people better than you found them, it's going to be a hell of a road.
So
Hell of a road.
So right before Christmas, so my mission, I was tested because, it is hard. It's a lot of work. And because you've done it. You guys, I feel like I've been sort of following their trail a little bit.
We're in
and
it.
so I'm like, I can see
Trailblazers.
them. They're like up over the hill. I'm like, Joey Drew, are we close?
Come
Are we getting there? but I'm hanging on. But right before Christmas, my mom was in an accident. I don't know if I told you guys that.
No.
And it was hard. Like, she's gonna be fine. Okay. But it definitely, like, all of a sudden, my already packed schedule of trying to keep everything moving that I needed to keep moving to keep building the business and supporting the businesses that I already had. Now I'm flying down there to make sure she's okay. I was down there every week, staying overnight in the hospital.
Where is she?
She's in Florida. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where that was all those posts actually. When I was in the airport, I was back and forth to see my mom, and one of them was with
Okay.
my sister. So I was like, video me. It was, we made the best of it. But the point is,
You know what you really did, because your energy in the videos was there.
yeah.
you
Well,
made
because
the
I
best of
believe
it.
in the mission still,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, of course I had moments where I was like, I'm fucking tired.
Yep.
Like, I'm tired. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I know why I'm doing this, because the world needs more better therapists. More
Exactly.
better. We need more better English too. But the world needs
I feel like
this.
the way which you said it though was
It was right.
okay.
It's true.
We need
Thank you.
more,
Appreciate
better.
that.
Yeah.
But it sounded funny. But yeah, so in a way, you guys always talk about how, like, struggle is something that is almost required
Yep.
for victory. I mean, I don't know if you have a particular phrase that I can think of, but, like, it's definitely in your messaging.
Struggle yields strength.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like that time of struggle for me helped even more so solidify the importance of my mission, because I was tired and I wanted to be there for my family, but I also was like, you know what? This is important. I'm gonna make them both work.
Yeah.
Talk about reframing. It gives you the opportunity to question yourself and what you're doing.
Exactly.
And like, most people avoid that like the plague.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay positive. I'm not going to. But the truth of the matter is, like, you need to do that. You need to
do.
question yourself. You need to question what you're doing, and
Come out
you
on the other side.
You double down
Yeah,
on it. You know?
exactly.
I wanted to ask a follow-up question just because I know I said it seems like a party over there at Primal Physical Therapy on a daily basis. And that's a part of the problem of social media nowadays, is that we only post our highlight reels and good things in our life.
Yeah.
And I like to ask entrepreneurs and people that have accomplished great things in life, like, was there a period in time in the journey of coming up as building your brand and your personal brand and becoming a great physical therapist that teaches other physical therapists how to do the job well,
Yeah.
where it was like really hard and you were like, because I'm trying to show the world and our community that, like, there's gonna be dark times,
Yeah.
and you have to be willing to overcome them, and
Good
that's
question.
a big part of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, really good question. I'll say I feel like there's two different things I can unpack there. One, in terms of, was there a time when it was hard to make it? I think also during COVID, so when I graduated PT school, all of our degrees were master's degrees. And then sometime after that, they became doctorate, like they're standard to be doctorate degrees now. And when that happened, when they became standard, so when PTs were coming out as doctors of physical therapy, I was already, like, really into the dry needling education. Sure. So, and I was also doing legislative work for dry needling across the country. So I was really busy with that, couldn't get my doctorate at that point. Plus I had kids, you know. So when COVID happened, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and get my doctorate right now. I'm going to get my doctorate. I'm going to finish. I'm going to continue to grow my business. I'm going to, you know.
I know this thought pattern.
Yeah. So it was a great idea, and I'm glad I did it. But the struggle was like I really was getting up at 4:30 every morning to, you know, work out and get all my reading in for my education. And it was really the grind. Like, so, and but again, like.
Later in life too, which you're not expecting, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, but I've always loved to grind. Like, I don't mind the hard work. I think you mentioned something earlier. I think it's actually harder on those around us sometimes. Like, I'm really good at getting my head down and being like, let's go. I'm going to just alarm goes off. Let's get up. Let's go. I'm mission driven. But sometimes it's our families that, like, I think there were times where my husband and kids were like, oh my God, Mom, you're still on the computer. Or, you know, so I think that was hard. There were times during that where I was like, am I doing the right thing? You know, but again, I just saw how we were able to help people. And so it was worth it. I guess that's really, actually, I guess that's both things I wanted to unpack.
I think you were about to say, I love a good grind.
I do.
And boy, so
I do.
So do
I love a good grind.
But how hard is the grind? This is one of the things that I think it doesn't get talked about enough. And I admire what you're doing by trying to, I don't know if normalize is the right word, but like show that side of entrepreneurship, because I am not good at it. Yeah. And I've told you
the
before,
struggle, you mean? Or what?
I'm not good at being vocal about the struggle, like the dark times, because I feel as though, and this is something that, you know, I probably just need to work through and understand a little more, but like, I feel like it's not anybody else's burden to bear.
100%.
Like,
also,
how am I going to, like, if I'm going to sit and bitch about a path that I chose to people that are trying to do the same thing, I'm kind of like bringing them down. I'm like, oh wait, don't go here, because
also
there's flames and smoke. And it's like, but so I'm trying to find that balance. So I appreciate what you're trying to do.
We have to agree on entrepreneurship on Instagram looks like the coolest fucking thing you'll ever see.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
The other thing, though, but what you just said, I see that in myself, but I think that also for me comes from I don't wallow in the hard.
Yes.
Like, it's easy for me to forget it.
Yes.
It's easy for me to move past it because I just see it as a stepping stone. Like, I'm like, this is hard now. That's why the grind is easy, because I'm like, I'm going to grind through this and I'm going to get on the other side and I'm going to be happy. I'm going to finally be up there with Joey and Drew.
That's a great,
you know what I mean?
Point.
So it's not like
point.
I have to think hard about the struggle, because for me, it's not always a struggle, even when it is a struggle.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it 1,000%. Like, I feel like I need to actually, I'm great at sitting in the suck. Like, that's the grind, right? But I feel like I have to sit in it a different way to be able to articulate it to other people. And for me right now, that's just too long of a sit for me. Like, I need to keep going. You know what I mean? Like, I need to keep jumping.
Like, I think I'm also afraid if I wallow in the suck,
it'll get you.
Then it'll suck me in.
Stare too long into the dark abyss, you become the darkness.
To be honest, this is the first time I talked in public about my mom's accident.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're through it now. Like, I feel like she's on the other end of it. But when I was still stressing about it, I wouldn't have brought it up.
Yep.
It's also, as entrepreneurs and one of the few, like, we grow too. Like, we've been through even hard times as a business recently, and I've told my wife, I was like, man, like, this could be the hardest thing we've ever had to go through, and I feel better now than I ever did. Like, I'm not even stressed at all. Like, it is what it is. Like, we're just gonna fucking figure it out. So and put another coin in the purse jar.
Dude, we're putting 20s in.
That's it.
I might as well get the name of the swear jar out now, because I'm not going to be able to do it on the episode. It's called the Fuck It Bucket. And it's literally right there. It's a stainless steel bucket. It's called the Fuck It Bucket. And I'm going to put 20s in it.
I love it.
And every time I curse, I have to, man. Look, all in.
All in.
All in. I'm putting 20s in it, and the 20s go to Consequence of Habit.
I love it.
That.
That's great.
Love that for
Donations, and I haven't even told Josh about that yet.
That's great.
We might like level up Consequence of Habit.
Yeah.
They don't need
Just
me on the
through
board.
your own.
They just need my.
I know.
They need my 20s from the fucking
Good donation.
Wait, that's such a
that's
good name. I just want to say it now.
bucket.
Bucket. The bucket.
That's part of the thing here.
amazing.
That's part of the thing. So there's got to be a little temptation involved too. You know what I mean?
great.
To make the work harder.
It's so good.
But you talk about the grind and like loving a good grind. And I think one of the hardest parts about entrepreneurship is when you're in that grind and there's no progress. Like the grind isn't like, oh, well, it's like a week of staying up late. Like the grind could be a very long
It's
time,
long.
months, years. And you have to get up every day and do the same exact thing over and over again until you see just a shred of progress.
But-
then it starts to compound,
Yes,
right?
it does.
But during that grind, that's the one thing I don't think gets talked about enough.
You're
You know
right.
what I mean?
And-
Everybody's looking for progress during it, and sometimes there is none.
There's
The
so many.
progress is you getting more consistent, doing the same thing over and over again until you see the progress.
It's so crazy for us as a business to even speak about it too, because the first 3 years, Joey and I did the same thing we do today almost, like every single day with another job
So funny.
and with absolutely no sales coming in.
So
like
funny.
we were literally working 2 full-time jobs and there was no success to be had. And we had a serious conversation one time that we told before, but we were like, we're gonna have to do this or die trying. And
I love
that's
it.
when
That's
we
the thing. Die trying
That's
is
it.
my thing.
and
Yeah.
we were like, he said that to me and I was like, all right,
I'm in.
let's go. Like,
Let's go.
And we buckle up.
And we committed.
Yeah,
and we committed. Got locked in our houses for 2 years, and
Yeah.
and then the sales started coming.
Yeah.
The thing you say about like continuing with and being consistent for like a shred of evidence of improvement, that's also like I said earlier, there's so many parallels to just life and
Yeah.
what we do in rehab too, rehab like therapy. The same thing happens with our patients. Like I have to help them find the celebrations in their progress sometimes, because sometimes they've been, quote, grinding so much with an injury.
Yep.
And you're like, and if they're not sure, they need to know, they need to see that. Like, okay, but now you were able to sit an hour and a half before your symptoms came on rather than a half hour. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those little things as an entrepreneur, it'll help. It'll help.
Yeah. Showing them the milestones, what I
Yeah.
mean? Showing them what they're crossing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
We gotta smell roses more for ourselves. That's always our challenge. We just
Yeah,
always.
That's been a challenge for sure. There's a reason why roses show up in the Fuel Hunt designs often. It's a
Yeah.
pain and power
That's
thing, but
that's
it's
the only
also
time Joey
smelling of
thinks
the
about them.
roses.
That's cool. I like
Pretty
it.
much.
I love the depth to the designs, I gotta say.
You are on EOS now?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
With Brian, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're probably not
We're
as
just-
far along as we
No,
are.
I told you, I'm at the bottom of the hill.
Oh my!
Are you at the? You haven't had an
We
annual
had
yet?
VB1, no.
Oh, okay.
We're
You're
like
just
heading for
starting.
VB2 in a couple weeks.
Okay, so there
Yeah.
will be a point in time where Brian, I think during the annual, where he challenges each member of your team to basically come up with a way you could be better,
Oh, wow.
and it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's an
I
interesting
mean,
time.
if
So
we're being transparent, there was a hard year for us where Joey was like showing up to the office and he was in attack mode. You call it? And
yeah, so
he was just like, I'm like, that's where it stems
I'm
from.
so that's one thing that, and I had this conversation with somebody last week, so a community member that came in for Power Hour. Like I'm very intense.
Yeah.
Like it's very intense, and I don't think a lot of people intense in a way where I can be very like, sit down, shut the fuck up, let's
Yeah,
go. Like
yeah.
very, and not a lot of people see that in the first year full time.
Yeah.
I had not figured out how to meter that yet with a new team, even though
Yeah.
it was my family. And I was like a barbarian, basically.
Yeah, we were trying to. I was like, what the?
Yeah, I was a barbarian.
That's
for a little while
hilarious.
there.
I think that you and I are kindred spirits, actually. You wouldn't know it by my like big smile but yeah.
Yeah, I
I think
was
sometimes I
barbarian.
come off a little hard on people.
So when Brian will bring you to a point where you will have to come up with that type of thing for all of your teammates, and
That's
you will have
cool.
to accept your own. And mine was to smell the roses more,
That's awesome.
because it's just something that
I might as well buy
I
some
don't
fucking
do.
roses right now.
I know. More roses coming on the apparel. Don't worry.
That's funny.
Any other questions? You are coming with hard hitting questions
I love
today.
'em.
No. No.
We'll talk about quickly. I know we touched on it earlier, but that collaboration project that we did, right,
Yeah.
for your apparel. We had done some projects before that, mainly with like I think CrossFit boxes.
Yeah.
Where they were coming to us and they were saying, "Hey, look, like we love Fuel Hunt. It's
Yeah.
the most comfortable gear to get uncomfortable in.
Yeah.
We want it for our box. We love your luck tee. could you just put our box logo on the sleeve? Like, let's do that
In a
Yeah.
different color.
in a different colorway or something.
Right.
So they were pretty straightforward for the community. But the project that we worked on together
Yeah.
for Primal was the first time that I really felt it was a from the ground up project, and I really felt that it was the first time that like two communities fused together, and two community members or three community members like actually fused together to create something really great.
Yeah, that was incredible. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up because I think that is like the minute I talked to you guys on the phone and I could feel your energies, I was confirmed that everything I thought the company would be was. But then when you and I had that conversation, we were like, we got on a call just to brainstorm what it was going to look like.
Yep.
And you were it was very clear that your purpose was really pretty selfless. Like that your purpose was really to help others produce things that follow the same mission. Because I remember feeling very shy about the fact that, oh, I left this out. When I first started my company, when I first started Primal Physical Therapy, my target market, if you will, was really only people that really wanted to get better. Like I wasn't gonna, I don't want this to sound callous, but I could smell some roses, but I didn't want to waste my time or anyone's time on people that weren't going to be committed. I wanted, and so the concept of the few,
Yeah, it's a small target market, right?
it is.
Yeah,
Well, it's bigger. It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
But at the time, it probably was fairly small. But it was like, look, I'm going to show people what I am transparently, and if they're on with that, great. And so I knew that it was sort of the few. Okay. And so when you and I were talking, I think it came to me on the phone, but I was like almost embarrassed to say to you, like, well, what about like, I would love to say something like defending the few. And I felt when I said it, like, I feel like that's their motto. Can I say that? This whole, crazy thing was going on in my brain. And you were like, I love that. That's amazing. Let's do it. And then not only that, but at the time you were working on the heart, hands, and hard work. And you were like, I've got this image that I kind of like have been conjuring up, and maybe we could do that. And I was like, I really like that. We decided not to do it. But then when that shirt came out, I was like, that's so cool. Like he was going to give me something he was already working on. Like
I felt your heart on that call, and I was like, this just fits.
that was so cool.
Yeah.
But I had to go back to that because I remember I don't think I ever reached out when I saw that shirt come out, and I'm like, he was already like that thing was basically drafted.
Yeah, I remember sketching it.
You sketched it on a train, right, or something, or a bus,
plane to go see B.
Trains, yeah.
I was going out to see Bedros, and I remember sketching it. And there was a girl sitting next to me who actually ended up following Fuel Hunt. So she's in the community now, but because she saw me sketching it. And it was the heart, similar to the one from Hard Hands and Hard Work. I point over there because it's over there on a board, on a big what would you call that? One of these.
Backdrop.
Yeah, backdrop.
Thank you.
It was the heart.
Yeah.
But then I believe that I had more like there was like vines and things
because
around
we talked
it,
about
like
the nervous system
primal
being
and the nervous system
It was
and all this
very
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
Lit.
Yeah, it was dope. But it was I think it was a little too intricate.
Yeah.
And then your idea and your vision for it, of course, I was like 1,000% on board. I'm like, this is amazing.
It was amazing.
Was the wolf JJ's idea or your
Yes.
idea? Okay.
Yeah,
Why the
yeah,
wolf?
Yeah.
Just I think because we're pack.
Yeah,
Like
pack.
I
and
just
the primal nature of it. We were
Okay.
definitely looking for an animal.
We were looking for an
Yeah,
animal.
we were looking for an animal.
Yeah.
So that heart peeled off out of those original concepts.
Yeah.
And then became.
I was going to say,
Hands on Hard Work, too.
I'm glad we went with the wolf and defending the few because when I think of primal, that hard hands and hard work
Yeah.
image
I
doesn't.
think.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what happened. I think I loved the words behind defending the few, and the heart. While I love the image, I was like, I feel like I want something to reflect, like something
Those words.
to reflect
Yeah.
defending the few.
Yeah.
So
And I was like, a wolf is going to do that.
a wolf on a stalk.
Yeah.
It's so funny when I hear your business name. Do you use the wolf as your your main logo now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome.
All I can hear is me saying wolf and you two saying wolf. And it's different. And I at home, like my family wrecks on me for it because
Say it.
wolf.
I think it sounds
Wolf.
great. Wolf.
There's no L.
I know.
So it's like,
but I
they
didn't
just get-
notice.
Wolf.
Yeah,
I didn't
they
notice.
I
Is
can
that
hear
We
the
love you
L's in
anyway.
Would you
you,
play
but
down the Philly on a Philly accent?
it is, and I've tried to really navigate like my Philly, but you know what? Now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where's the bucket at? Is the
I
bucket-
know.
I know you're.
Now I'm like, fuck it.
Are you
coming
from
out.
Philadelphia or the surrounding area?
Originally really born in Delaware.
Okay,
Yeah,
like Delco.
yeah.
No,
Not
Delaware.
Delco, Delaware.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The first
family's
state.
from New York.
The first.
Okay.
And then, but I was born and raised in Delaware, and we moved up here like 14 years ago.
Okay.
To the surrounding area.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, very cool.
yeah.
So I wanted to touch on that, defending the few, and we touched a little bit on you working with so many Fuel Hunt community members,
Yeah.
you know, which some of which you were working with before probably Fuel Hunt was
Gosh,
born,
I don't even know, to be honest.
I would think.
But it all just kind of happened together.
Yeah.
We all found each other.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So you have some new stuff going on,
Yeah.
right? So you have your own show, which is epic, right?
Thank you. I'm having fun with it.
You're working with B
Working
now,
with
right?
B,
With
yeah.
Bedros, right?
Did the domination year. We're actually coming up on the end of the year, but we've
Okay.
accomplished
Really?
a ton. March
That
is our
was
last call.
quick.
That was fast, wasn't it?
I would say so. I would
Yeah.
say you've accomplished a ton.
Yeah.
I would say so. Just
Yeah.
from like an outside perspective, and I know that's probably only a fraction of what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He's just
So-
another level human being
Totally.
and business mind and
just-
entrepreneurs. I mean,
I feel like I liken him to like when now no one's gonna want to walk in front of me. It's true, my family doesn't like to walk in front of me, but like when I watch somebody walk down the street, I can pretty much usually pick something up.
Yeah.
And like I feel like you say like 5 words about your business, and he's like, "Here's what you gotta do." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
here we go."
Yeah,
Yeah.
He'll do rapid fire Q&As, you know, on
Yeah.
his show, or even if he speaks in Rise, rapid fire Q&As, and he's like an oracle.
Yeah.
I called him a Sherpa on the previous
Sherpa, yeah.
episode. So like I'm coming up with all sorts of creative ways
That's
to
great.
describe
An
the genius.
oracle.
Yeah.
The genius.
Oracle's great.
The genius and the generosity that is.
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
pretty awesome.
He's definitely awesome. So tell us a little bit about before we tie up here. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Thank you.
Outside of your show, yeah.
All right, so really out of the realization that we need more PTs that are doing things well, you know, not accepting mediocre anymore, getting patients really what they deserve, above average. We started Primal University, which is really just a series of 3 courses, but the courses are integral to teaching therapists how to treat the body as a system. Like one of my biggest things is we're really a system. We're the whole. We're not the sum of its parts. Like too often, what I kept seeing, patients were coming to me from other places, and in those places' defense, in a lot of structures of physical therapy, they're not really set up. Their infrastructure isn't set up to spend the time with patients to really do a whole body approach. But patients were coming to me, and the reason they didn't get better is because people had this like tunnel vision, and they would only look at whatever body part they were complaining about, and then they couldn't get people better that way. And so Primal Foundations is our first course, and it really integrates a systematic approach to treating the body as a whole system. And so teaching them evaluative skills and application techniques to really get them better. And then from that, we go into more detail in the successive courses. So that's really the big thing. And then I'm using the podcast as an avenue also to level up therapists' education and exposure to other great, like for therapists who want to go into cash-based practice on their own. So Primal Physical Therapy is a out-of-network physical therapy office, meaning patients pay at the time of service, and then they can get reimbursed for out-of-network coverage on their own. So other therapists that want to do that, I'm bringing in, you know, a lot of my speakers are people that can help them in those ways, either business, like these guys are coming on my show in a couple of weeks, and so I think it'll be really cool to hear the entrepreneurial side of your company and how you grew that, because as a physical therapist growing a cash-based practice, you also have to think of those things. Whereas most PTs, you know, have just been focused on the clinical side of things.
Yep.
But the podcast also has clinical corners and episodes circled around leveling up their clinical skills as well.
Okay.
So
as like a complement to the university, or a lead-in maybe to the
exactly,
university.
like
Yeah.
I realize people need to understand what I do is definitely out of the box for a lot of therapists. To me, it makes complete sense to me. It doesn't feel out of the box to me, but
Sure.
when I explain it to people, they're usually look at me like this at first.
We know
Takes
that
them
feeling.
a second, you know what I mean? And so I'm putting more and more content on there, and that's been great. Like watching, I feel like therapists have really, they're starting to get it. I'm getting a lot of great feedback with that and seeing more interest in the courses. So
Excellent.
You're doing a good thing too, because I cannot imagine how hard it is to start a cash-based practice, right? Like how many people want to come and pay for physical therapy out of pocket when like it really is what they need. They just don't know it, right?
Yeah.
To the average person, they wouldn't understand. Like I understand, or Joe would understand, because we do research into that holistic body approach rather than the give me this medicine.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it ends up being, I think, well, my niche is really like help therapists be freaking awesome. And then the business model falls from that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't like it. There are other cash-based practice like entrepreneurs that will help a physical therapist. Like, here's how you send your emails, and here how you do this. And really, that's not my niche. My niche is like, I'm going to make you an amazing therapist, and I'm going to help you get people better so fast that the word is just going to spread.
yeah.
And your business will benefit from that.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's
makes sense.
yeah.
There's no better marketing than a good product. Like,
That's right.
If you're providing solutions to problems, then the customers will come.
Absolutely. And when we
Yeah.
come for your show, you're going to provide us solutions for our problems so that we can, continue our journey on the mats.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Get my knees to my chest better when I'm in bottom side control side mount.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And the clicking. You're
Yeah.
going to address my clicking.
I can't wait. We'll put the mics
I do
up.
have like a crunchiness too, like right here. Is that arthritis? Like,
Yeah, crunchiness, man. Crunchiness that sounds like that's. I
no,
don't know.
it's not good.
That's next level clicking.
Yeah.
Crunchy.
We'll look at the crunching.
All right.
In all seriousness, we will. But in all seriousness, thank you so much for coming in today. Not just that, but for literally believing in us from damn near day one. You know, everything we do, and spreading the good word of the rules of the
Back
few.
at you guys.
You know, and we will always have your back as you defend the few, always.
Thank
And we're excited to see you in 2 weeks
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
for your show.
Me too. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you for what
Absolutely.
you guys do. The world is
Absolutely.
definitely a better place because you guys did this.
That's the goal. That's
Try
the
to
goal.
change the world one hard worker at a time.
That's right. That's right. I think you want to sign off after that? I
Oh,
think you
yeah.
should sign off. I think you
All right,
sign
guys.
after that, you sign off.
Thank you to JJ and my cousin and co-founder Joey. Remember, always choose hard work over handouts. Always choose effort over entitlement. And remember, no one owes you. No one owns you. You're one of the few.
Let's hunt.
Let's hunt. Let's get it.
Let's
This
hunt.
is like this cross thing is like the way this is how I go. That's how I go.